Hi, today I'm going to go over the Formlabs 3D resin printer. Hopefully by the end of this video you guys will be able to print something on your own. First thing you want to do is open the Formlabs software. And once you have that open, you can choose the resolution of your print, and depending on if you want it to be higher resolution, it's also going to take longer for the printer to complete, so keep that in mind. And you also can choose the color of the resin from this main menu as well. And next you open your STL file from the File menu. Once your file is loaded, it should appear automatically in the middle of the screen. And something you always want to keep in mind with this printer and 3D printers in general actually is how the printer forms the layers of your object. And depending on how the layers are oriented, your physical properties can change quite a bit. So when it loads in, if you want to reorient it, you can reorient it on the left. And in this case of the Formlabs printer, it forms layers from the bottom up, starting at the grid you can see on the screen. After your object is oriented how you want it, the next step would be to generate supports for the print, and you can do that also with the menu on the left. The default settings for generating supports should be good enough for beginners in this case, and after the supports are generated, they appear on screen, and this is pretty important because you want to make sure the supports that were generated automatically do not ruin the functionality of whatever you're trying to print. So if it's not how you want it, reorient your object and generate the supports again. So for this printer, each different color corresponds to a different resin tank. And to change the resin tank for a new color, just pull firmly on the side tabs and be careful not to touch the bottom of the tank because that can reduce print quality for future prints. And in order to put in the new tank, just hold the tabs on the side and push it firmly in place. And I also want to mention that the resin cures from being exposed to UV light, so be sure to keep tank lids on while not in use. And before we start the printer, you want to make sure the printing head is clean, so take some isopropyl alcohol and wash it down and just wipe it off with a clean paper towel. In order to put the head back on the printer, just slide it on as shown in the video and push down the little arm and it's secure. Before you start the printer, you want to make sure that there's enough resin in the tank for your print. So just make sure that the color on the bottle matches the color in the tank and pour the resin out until the max fill line, which is this black line shown here on the tank. Now that the printer is ready to go, we can actually print the object. So do that by clicking on File and then Print. And after clicking Print, this confirmation window comes up, and this is a good time to make sure that the resin levels in the tank are at an appropriate level, and once you're good to go, you can click on the Send to Printer button. And on the actual printer, you want to press the big button to confirm that you are starting a print. And after you do that, the printer will actually go through a decently long loading process. And after it's done loading, though, it'll start completely on its own. There's no more confirmations that you need to press or anything like that. Once the printer's finished, you can lift the lid and place the black lid back on the resin tank. That's the first thing you do. And then you can remove the prints head and remove your object with a putty knife. And when you're trying to remove your part, try your best not to dig into the printer head, because that can scratch it and indent it and possibly cause problems for future prints. And the final step is to process your print in isopropyl alcohol. And to do this, you just place your print in the correctly labeled bath and shake it using the handles for a couple minutes, and then let it sit for about 10 minutes.